So today is my birthday. I thought I would share 32 things I learned before 32. Real quick, before we start though, since it's my birthday, I would like to ask if my work has impacted you in any way. Please let me know in the comments. That'd be a great gift to receive today. I'll read through them all and respond to you guys. So if the YouTube lessons or Chase's Guitar Academy or anything I've done has helped you out, just take a second, let me know in the comments. All right, number one, the obstacle is the way. You're probably familiar with this mega hit from Ryan Holiday. But what is blocking your path is also the way forward. This year, I definitely learned that lesson, especially with dealing with the whole situation with Peter Farrell and that becoming a major obstacle to me, him attacking me online, but then ultimately leading to a lot of success for me, getting to work with Benson and his team on his album and even getting an endorsement from him saying I'm an amazing instructor. So what might seem like a difficult time right now can most likely lead to further success. Number two, deep work requires deep rest. This is one that I struggle with because I like to work. I have a lot of fun and challenging stuff that I'm doing, and I need to remind myself to take breaks. Number three, the best of the best never stop learning from the best. So even at a high level, you want to keep learning from experts, from masters. This is actually one of the main reasons I have, world-class guitarists come into Chase's Guitar Academy every month. It's because I want to actually learn from them too. And we record it and present it for everyone so that everyone can benefit. But it's a real big reason for me to continue learning new things, make new connections with these people, build new relationships, learn a bunch. It's a great time. Number four, reading fiction before bedtime is better than any sleeping pill you might take. It'll just knock you right out. So I'm a big fan of Brandon Sanderson's books, and if you are not familiar, my recommendation is to start with Mistborn. Number five, mental models in other fields can help you solve problems in yours. I'm interested in a lot of different fields, whether that's math, philosophy, martial arts, cooking, learning languages, and I'm constantly taking from those different fields, different concepts that I'm learning and applying them to playing music and teaching music. So they help me a lot in creating analogies for teaching and even just refining my thinking about how to best learn things. So learning in other fields, you can figure out things that you wouldn't necessarily think of if you're just focused on one field. All right, number six, if you have the money to solve the problem, then you don't have the problem. That's a quote from Jack Butcher. And this is one that I've dealt with in the past as well. I'm someone who tends to save and sort of keep my money. So a lot of times we can let a problem linger, something we're struggling with or dealing with, and we actually have financial resources to solve that problem. We just don't deploy those resources. So all of these things really are personal things that I've dealt with. Maybe some of these connect with you, maybe some of them don't. Number seven, this one actually just came up in a recent lesson with a member, Jerry. Shout out to you, Jerry. And I'll just read it. Noodling in improvisation is like a child stringing random letters together without spaces. Just as words need breaks to form sentences with meaning, your musical phrases need silence to become vocabulary. So we want to listen, imitate, and build our musical vocabulary, phrase by phrase, in the same way a child learns to speak. Otherwise, your solos sound like you're playing like this. Just one run-on sentence. Not even run-on sentence, run-on word. So you got to take breaks. All right, number eight, you can just do things. This is a quote I've seen a bunch on X, formerly known as Twitter, and a bunch of different tech circles. But the main idea is that it captures this spirit about taking action, that you don't need permission or qualifications or a fancy degree. You can just do the thing that you want to do. So my own personal example is this last summer from this year. I had this idea for an app that I wanted to create for a while, and then I finally decided, you know what, now there's enough resources, enough ways I can learn, that over the summer I'm just going to build the app. And I just built the app, right? And it was a good success. So the point here is just don't let those kind of things, like feeling like you need permission or, oh, I don't have that degree, I can't become a jazz musician or whatever. Just really, no one's ever asked for my degree. No one's ever asked to take a look at my music degree, or most people's degree, to be honest. All right, number nine. The way you frame a problem often determines whether you can solve it. So sometimes the breakthrough is not from doing more or trying harder, but just taking a different angle on that problem. Number 10, treasure or tool. When you're buying new gear, the sort of framework I like to use is decide if it's a one-of-a-kind treasure, aka George Benson's guitar, or just a tool to help you achieve a specific end. I'm not going to edit that out. We're just rolling with it. So you want the best value tool you can get, and you want to splurge on a treasure every now and then. All right, number 11, learning any new skill alone is doing it on hard mode. Learning it with the support of a teacher and peers is doing it in fun mode. Rule number 12, this is a personal one for me. Maybe a lot of you guys, no caffeine or coffee afternoon. It's 3:53 when I'm filming this, so this is water. Number 13, focus is not saying yes to one thing. It's saying no to everything else. This one's so important. You'll know you're focused when you're saying no to many great opportunities that you want to do, but that aren't the number one thing that you're focused on currently. This is inspired by famous Steve Jobs quote about focus. Number 14. This one also came up in a recent lesson. Forgetting is a necessary step to move something from your short-term memory to your long-term memory. So the effort of recall, actually trying to remember something, tells your brain to remember that information better next time, because it's taking brain resources, energy to recall that, and you're telling your brain, hey, let's get better at doing that so we don't take up as much energy in trying to remember it. So really the perspective you should have on forgetting something like a song or a lick is not, oh man, I'm a failure for forgetting that, but that's an opportunity to learn that song or that lick even better than you currently know it. You just have to be honest with yourself that that is where you're currently at in knowing that, in learning that. Number 15, a finite game is played for the purpose of winning, and an infinite game is one which is played for the purpose of continuing to play. So this is coming from this novel, James P. Carse, maybe not a novel, but it's called Finite and Infinite Games. And as much as you can, he's recommending trying to play an infinite game. And really, music is the ultimate infinite game to me, where there's no winning in the game of music and playing with others. No one's trying to win over the drummer or the piano player. We're all just trying to continue to play and continue to improve. Number 16, get noise-canceling headphones for deeper focus and work. I had recently got the Apple AirPods Pro, which are somewhere here. Yeah, they're under this stack. And they're great. They're really, really good. Noise cancellation is really great on that. Number 17, every year you should be actively planning on new projects, skills, and experiences that are beyond your current capabilities. So that's how you grow. Who wants to live the same year over and over again until you die? Try new things. Number 18, it's a big pet peeve of mine. And I found this good quote to describe it. The map is not the territory. So this is from Polish engineer Alfred Korzybski. I'm probably pronouncing that wrong. And let's relate it to music now. So we can't forget that music theory describes the music. It's not actually the music. So a scale can describe a melody, but that doesn't mean that playing a major scale is how you create a melody. So think about that one. A lot of you guys are struggling with that, whether you know it or not. Number 19, constraints breed creativity. Some of my best work, compositions and other things I've worked on, emerged when I had limited resources, limited time, options, and those limitations can really force innovative thinking. A lot of times we had to do this even in arranging class, where we were constrained ahead of time by having to compose something that was a certain amount of time, right? A lot of times as an arranger, you have to make music that fits a certain time limit. This has to be 5 minutes or 8 minutes, and then you start with that constraint. You have to make the music fit that, not just whatever you want. Number 20, again, this is personal to me. Create in the morning, manage in the afternoon. I know for me, my best creative work is done probably after a workout between 8 a.m. to noon. After that, it's just I lose so much focus and energy that I'm better off answering emails and other types of work. All right, 21. It's one of my favorite quotes from Naval Ravikant. Play long-term games with long-term people. All returns in life, whether in wealth, relationships, or knowledge, come from compound interest. Basically, work with people that you want to work with long term. Number 22. Your musicality develops in proportion with the quality of music you listen to. So I've seen this one a bunch, where there's people who are trying to learn jazz guitar, let's say, but who don't listen to any jazz guitar or jazz in general, and are still struggling, surprisingly enough, because you need to listen to that music to then learn that music. But it applies to a lot of different things. Number 23, it's okay to outgrow things. This might be in relationships, friendships, habits, goals, etc. You are not obligated to spend time in areas that are no longer of value to you. So that's me giving you permission, not that you need it, because you can just do things, but I'm giving you permission to outgrow things. Number 24, this is a good one. One secret of how master musicians can get so good is that they practice away from their instrument. So you can actually do a lot of practicing, a lot of visualization that is as good as other practicing on your instrument. You could run through scales, arpeggios, exercises. Sometimes I'm laying in bed trying to fall asleep and I'm like soloing over a tune. I'm just like, I can't get a tune out of my head. And I'm like I'm imagining the fretboard and soloing over it. Another example of that is you can hear a lot of things in going about your day to day. Different songs that are on, horns honking, different like musical elements, sounds. And think about what is that? What is the harmony of that? What is the interval of that? And even if you're not sure you got it right, just that act of focusing on music in general, not just when you're on your instrument, you'll make so much progress. And the masters of your instrument all do this. It's how they get better faster, because they're actually spending time that you couldn't spend. They're spending time when you're just doing your work. Number 25. If you can't decide, you haven't clarified what matters most to you. And if you lack motivation, it's because you don't have a clear vision of why that action matters. So if you're feeling unmotivated right now, you want to have more clarity of vision. So that motivation, that lack of motivation, is directly a result of really knowing where you want to go, and why that matters to you. 26. This is one I joke with members of Chase's Guitar Academy, because a lot of our members are retired or in that stage of life, and so I joke with them that I'm also retired, because in a sense I feel like I am, because I'm doing every day what I would do if I was retired. I don't have a specific obligation. I'm working on creative things that I would be working on if I didn't have a job to go to. So that is one of the benefits of being self-employed as I am. 27. Get comfortable being uncomfortable. So especially in your practice time, you want to spend it on that edge of your abilities. Just like with a good workout, you're not going to grow your muscles if you're doing stuff way under what you're capable of, and you can hurt yourself if you're trying to lift a weight that is way above what you're capable of. You need to be right at that edge and just push yourself a little bit. 28. Accelerated learning requires compressed feedback loops. So a lot of times, first of all, a lot of times people don't have any feedback in their playing. So they're not getting better because no one is evaluating their playing and giving them feedback. They don't have a teacher. But also, even if you do have a teacher, most of the time that's on a weekly basis. So that weekly feedback is your cadence. But you actually would get faster, you would get better a lot faster if you increase the frequency of that feedback. So it's a big reason why in Chase's Guitar Academy, I'm so adamant about members posting videos for feedback, or at the very least, sending me a message if they need feedback on something or get stuck. Because the faster you get that feedback, the faster you improve. It's so important. So get more feedback. 29. A great way to become familiar with playing over a certain chord is to loop that chord and then play different notes over that chord, single notes, right? And we want to hear for that interval relationship. So if it's a major 7th chord we're looping, C major 7, what does D sound like over C major 7? Like, what is that sound of the 9th over that? What does the root sound like, right? This will really help you in so many ways. It is ear training, but it'll improve the notes you pick when improvising. It'll help you pick out melodies. There's so many ways that it will improve your musicianship. Number 30, the mastery paradox. So consistent practice builds skill, but having a routine can accelerate your perception of time passing. So this is a question I'm kind of dealing with right now that I'm thinking about, is how do you balance having a focused routine with new experiences that expand our sense of time? And I think the answer lies having deliberate variety within structured consistency. If you have thoughts on this, you can let me know in the comments as well. 31, spend your time on something that will be valuable to you in 10 years. You will focus on the long term, and the time is going to pass anyways, so you might as well do it so that at the end of those 10 years, you end up with something that is really valuable to you. And finally, 32, becoming a new creative voice in a field requires deep study of those that came before you. So George Benson studied Wes Montgomery. Wes studied Charlie Christian. At the same time, no one would claim that any of those legends are copycats of those other people. A lot of times students will worry, oh, if I'm just transcribing a lot of this one guy, I'm going to start to sound like a copycat of them. I want to make my own voice. Well, the magic happens when you apply your own thoughts and experiences to what you learned from the greats. They have solved a lot of things in playing this instrument, in developing. You want to learn those things, and then you want to figure out, what do I have to say about that? So these are things that I found useful to me. Hopefully some of them are helpful to you as well. If anything has connected with you, let me know in the comments. If my work has impacted you, again, you can let me know. It would be a great birthday gift to me, and I appreciate it. If you want to study guitar with me, check out Chase's Guitar Academy, 7-day free trial. We have a ton of cool stuff coming that I can't tell you about, but we'll be announcing soon. So if you want to be the first to know, check it out. Thanks, guys. Bye.